Welcome back to the Eric Krown crypto channel, where I am massively sunburnt once again, but that doesn't mean that I can't wish you a happy, healthy start to a nice Tuesday morning over here, assuming that it is indeed a Tuesday. Time doesn't necessarily exist in Greece, but I wanted to follow up on the short-term time frame analysis we were looking at yesterday. Bitcoin did take the upside breakout and the intended targets that kind of align with that, plus follow up on the higher term time frame analysis, of which we have a major closure tonight with both the 2-day and the 5-day time frames. Other than that, major shout out to Mr. Alex Switch from the Discord. I love the community member. I've actually been able to meet him here in Greece, and just a fucking stand-up guy. Really enjoyed our time together, sir, and here's to more as well. All right, sweet. So let's just jump into it right now. I want to start it off with the 6-hour time frame that we were on yesterday. We were looking at incredibly low volatility reads on the 6-hour BBWP, which gave us a bias for a resolution on the range, on the tightening range, coming into late Monday, early Tuesday. That's kind of where we're at right now. And what do you know? We do have a resolution. What was the resolution as far as criteria goes? Any sort of a closure above 19,650, and very likely a move somewhere around about 20,500 or so, perhaps even a little bit more than that over time. With that in mind, I do want to go look at the 12-hour time frame and recognize that it also is expanding off of extreme lows, similar to what we saw back on the 6th of September and then also on the 18th of August. That would be this move right here, kind of coming off from of the same $18,500 regions before a nice almost $4,000 rally. And before that, the expansion phase that we saw coming off of the downtrend from 23.5 all the way down to basically 18.5. So, rather important in this case. Anyways, back on the 6-hour time frame over here, the reason why I do think that Bitcoin likely has another try to the upside, in the medium term, maybe after a short-term consolidation, would be the 6-hour time frame showing still the jewel with curvature to the upside. Yes, it will get into resistance there, relatively soon, obviously, but does that mean that we probably consolidate and then maybe try again? Perhaps yes. With that in mind, let me just reference my notes and get over here into the stochastic momentum. So starting off with the daily time frame, we do observe that the daily has actually crossed up from extreme lows and will be remaining with upside curvature as long as Bitcoin's above 18,600. The 12-hour time frame is going to be remaining with upside curvature above 19,050. The 6-hour is going to be remaining with upside curvature above basically the same number, just below 19.1, and the 4-hour is going to be remaining with upside curvature above 19.3. All of which Bitcoin is about $1,000 or more above. Even the hourly is kind of flippy-floppy here, technically down right now, so very short term, bit of a consolidation, but I do expect that Bitcoin probably tries at least one more move to the upside after a sideways consolidation, and we'll talk about targets. But I want to very specifically address what an invalidation would look like as far as this essentially confirming a bit of a bull trap. Kind of hard to use that term when we're talking about low timeframes like this, but any sort of an hourly closure below 19,700, yes, the upside is very likely a trap move, and coming back down to kind of where we started this rally from, maybe even lower than that. But for right now, bit of a consolidation here, maybe short term back down, slightly around 20,000, maybe even a little bit below that. It's completely fine. 19.7 is the big area to be watchful or mindful of. With that in mind, what would the next sort of targets be? Still 20,500 is kind of the area that I like, the 0.5 in this case. And that's where I'd be looking for maybe a medium-term time frame pullback, but any sort of a closure above that level on, let's say, a 4-hour time frame, a little bit higher than that, to be fair, about 20,550. And then, yes, I would be looking for Bitcoin to mount an assault somewhere between about 20,800 to 20,000, or maybe even $21,000. Basically, play out a test to the daily 55 in this case, which is about 20,800. So, that would be kind of the next area of interest. By the way, the daily, also extremely low BBWP. I don't expect it to expand right now, by the way, but kind of basing off there. And we do see a phantom drive of hidden bullish divergence, although this one, not sure how much I should trust that one. Anyways, moving on into the higher term timeframes now. This is where things become a lot more interesting, specifically for today. The 5-day time frame is the big one because we have a chance to essentially resolve the signal that was born upon the rejection from $25,000, which gave us a bias down to those $18,000 regions or so. So let me just pull up my charts, the ones that I actually want to be looking at. What essentially is this signal? Well, the signal is a volatility versus momentum signature. The volatility component of this is represented by the BBWP indicator over here. And what we've essentially observed is that when 5-day BBWP gets to 15 percentile or lower, which I kind of define as like extreme lows, the expansion phase from these extreme extreme lows over the past 4 to 5 years has led to an average move of 42.35% over the course of just under 37 days. And the first standard deviation, which represents where we expect about 68% of the results to fall between, would be between about 35.25% to 49.5%. The thing with this is that this signal was born in basically mid-August. Seeing that we're kind of in the last week of September here, that would put us right around the average days. Have we hit the average move? No, we have not. We haven't even hit the lower end of the first standard deviation, but we have played out about a 26 or 27% move to the downside. So it is comparable. And this is, again, where we expect 68% of the results to fall between, not 100%, obviously. So it is, I would say reasonable in this case if we do see this signal actually resolved, fucking fly. I will murder all flies in the vicinity, no doubt about that. But in this case, if we do see the 5-day stochastic momentum oscillator cross the upside, that'd be a great indication that this signal is now done. We add it to the list or add it to the stats for the next one, and we await the next big one. And what number would resolve it by today's closure at some goddamn flies? Yes, the goddamn flies closure at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time would be above 19,450. The only way that I kind of see this coming into some sort of a conflict is if you do see 19,700 lost. If that happens, good indication that downside pressure remains. But for right now, with Bitcoin above these levels, do have to say that a little more likely coming into the end of the day, which is a good amount of time, obviously, that we do see this signal finally done with about right on time as well, which is rather interesting. So in this case, barring any sort of like a major trap today, well, that's the number that I'd be looking for. Again, 19,450 does not imply a signal to the upside. It just implies that we're going to very likely probably see something like this on 5-day BBWP where, it comes back down bases again, and then we get another signal. In this case, we'd have to see where the stochastic momentum oscillator is at that point, kind of judge, where things are likely to end up. The 2-day time frame is also going to be resolved tonight as well. Similar, same setup over here, and basically the 2-day time frame will cross up with any sort of a closure above, guess where? 19,700. So that number, very, very important. As long as if Bitcoin closes below, still bearish, still risk to the downside, major risk to the downside, I might add. But above it, well, probably in for an extended bounce. Other than that, as I get hit on my trade over here, nice. Other than that, as I lose my train of thought, I did want to come back to this over here. On the weekly time frame yesterday, I did say that the weekly stochastic oscillator is in a critical area right here. It will have a chance to create regular bullish divergence, and with the volatility of stochastic momentum on the lows as well, similar to what you saw before the last major meltdown in April and also a last major melt up in October 2020, for example, both extremely major moves, and it does not happen too often. It does imply that the likelihood of this next expansion on the higher term timeframes will actually come to the upside, which is why yesterday I did say probably in October, probably more like late October, we do see a greater bounce emerge from this. I'm not calling any macro reversals or anything like that, but a greater bounce nonetheless. Which may or may not be to your interest, just more likely within these regions. The weekly remains with will have upside portion above 19.4. So we do see that number pop up on the weekly and the 5-day. So I would be looking at the 5-day today as a good indication of whether or not that's going to, happen basically. So other than that, I think that's probably a good place for me to be leaving off on this particular video. I hope that this one serves you well. I hope that, what else? I should probably show my Instagram. I've been posting a lot of Bitcoin-related content, trade-related content, and also Greece-related content because it's fucking amazing here. I absolutely love this place. And shout out to all the people who have been reaching out to me on Instagram. I really am trying my best to get back to everyone there, but it's difficult because I also have limited connectivity. My provider actually does not work well out here for whatever reason, but all the suggestions have been incredibly amazing. So other than that, much love, take care, and see you hopefully soon.